the father, the son. This is all I can send you, Kal-El. It's not who I am underneath that defines me, but what I do. You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Just because someone stumbles and loses their path doesn't mean they're lost forever. You're making me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I let my father die because I trusted him. Because he was convinced that I had to wait. That the world was not ready. What do you think?
Kind of a premature start. It's usually normal, I think, for me with these things. Thank you for joining in. I really appreciate you guys hanging out, and hopefully, we'll have a good time this morning. Welcome to Comics and Ramblings with Aru. If you're new here, thank you for joining in and watching along with me. And we got so many awesome things this morning to check out. And please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it before. And also, if you like the show at the end, give us a like. And there's so many more videos out there. What I really want to ask you guys to do is go and check out all the interviews I've done, all the discussions I've had with amazing people from around the world, filmmakers, and upcoming, there'll be some musicians as well. But, business owners, creative people, comic book artists, writers, publishers, lots of great interviews out there under the Plunge Pop playlist. But today, I got so many cool things, guys. I've got so many cool things I want to show you guys. Blade Runner video game, TCGs, Lego stickers, Klingon dictionary stuff I picked up yesterday. I didn't realize what it was until I got home. I just thought, Star Trek, Klingon, buy that. A whole lot of mystery zombie boxes to open up. And some figures to open up as well, but also some trailers to look at. And this is, of course, a not for kids show, so I can show you some horror movies that I've watched as well this past week. And we're going to look at Vampirella as one of them. But thank you for joining me. Right away, let's start with the Blade Runner game. Right, it's probably I have never played it. So the story behind the Blade Runner thing is that a couple of years ago, we were cleaning out my dad's, shed. Like we have a shed at the back of the house. It was full of all this stuff. It's basically what happens is things pile up. It goes into my dad's computer room, office, and then if that piles up, we move it out into the shed. And so over the years, we ended up, I think it was about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, went down to go to help Dad clean out his stuff. Took an all day. He'd already moved most of it there, but we had to work out what was going to get thrown out, what wasn't. So one of the things that I ended up doing was bring back some stuff that I wanted to keep for myself, but a lot of it I brought back like a garbage bag, like a plastic big bag, where I basically chucked all these magazines from the 80s and 90s, computer magazines to do with VIC-20, Commodore 64, and I ended up giving that to a friend of mine, Rico. You might have saw him on the Friday night show with Kiwis Review Comic Books. That's on again tomorrow night with Ant Sang, amazing New Zealand writer and comic book creator, artist, amazing artist. Realized that I'd actually interviewed a few years back for my 5 questions. And I'm bringing the 5 questions back when I do, blogs or interviews like that, where it's written rather than actually, because you get to hear what people are saying in their own words. And I kind of like sometimes I'll edit it, if I do edit it, I'll just, to make it sound a bit something what else, paraphrasing. But usually I don't. But if I do, it's to do with space. But I usually let the people answer the questions themselves, and I just copy paste it in. Now, so with that, with the Blade Runner thing, my dad was, cleaning out, like I said, my dad was cleaning out all the stuff, making room. We're gonna, things that stockpiled, and after a while, you need space, and we did a huge clear out. So basically, 2 whole bedrooms, I guess the size of my studio apartment, right? Which is, like about 5 by 5 meter, right? 3 meter high, whatever, 2.5 meter high, was cleaned out with records, VHS tapes that had been eroded due to moisture and stuff like that, magazines, books that had just mold had got into, rats had got into, all this stuff. But I did bring back a whole lot of PC CD-ROMs, right? Preview game things, and I kept that for myself. And amongst that, I also kept this. I thought, because Blade Runner, I love Blade Runner. It's one of my #1 favorite movies of all time. I've read Philip K. Dick book. He's my favorite sci-fi writer, and I don't think I've read more sci-fi from anybody else but Philip K. Dick, right? And so this is, this is one of the things that I've never played. I would love to play it. I'm sure I'll need to make sure that it works and everything. I mean, make sure it works on my computer and so on, right? But I've got a trailer set up where I'm going to show you what it looks like, right? So this is the game itself. It comes in 2 discs. Was it more? Right, so it comes in 2 discs. It's bubble wrap to make sure it doesn't pop out and start scratching itself, right? As it happens. You've got the booklet. It's one of my prized possessions, right? I never knew we had it, and it's become one of my prized possessions. I mean, you could probably pick this up for a couple of bucks somewhere if you really look at it. But because of my love for, for Philip K. Dick and love for this, like Blade Runner, it's become my prized possession. So no, there is more than it's a 4 disc, right? So it's a 4 disc, 2 on that side, 2 on the side, 4 disc set. Nowadays, you probably just get it all on one DVD set, right? I mean, I guess one huge 4 gig DVD thing, and you'll be fine. So it comes with like the artwork inside. Espers tells you about what there are, information. What's an Esper? And the Esper is a photograph analyzer that allows you to zoom in and pan around a picture to look for clues. So that's EPSA. What is it, Esper? Esper is one of those guys, telekinetic, something like that, or people that can read minds. So in-game navigation, all that stuff. But we'll see we'll see the gameplay in a minute. Character of I forgot even the character's name, because I always think of it as it's Harrison Ford, the Blade Runner. Also, it's because it's from Westwood. Sorry, I keep thinking it's Westworld. So it's from Westworld. They give you a card, tells you all the other games that they came out. Command and Conquer. These are the guys that make Command and Conquer, the classic Red Alert, right? We got Lands of Law, Command and Conquer, the Covert Operations, Red Alert, Aftermath, and the Collector's Pack. And you got like the Counter-Strike and so on. They're cool, right? Classic stuff. So this came out in 1996, right? And you got the warranty card. Please ensure that you read this product license before you loading the software. So it's got that. I don't know what else came with it because but it's got these 2 booklets, right? So was it just a 1 booklet? Let me just check. No, it's just a 1 booklet. So 4 disc set, double discs, right? Double disc pack case, and so on. And now put that back in there because and the thing is, I don't know if my dad bought this brand new or if he got a second hand. right? And I don't know when. I should have asked him, but I mean, he's fought so many things over the years, so I don't know exactly what and if he remembers when he got this. But what I love about this is that it's been kept in such a good condition, right? There isn't too much wear and tear on it. So I, whoever had it, whoever owned it before my dad, or if my dad bought it, pre-sale, whatever was it, garage sale, something like that, or from a secondhand store. I don't know, the situation there, but let's have a look at the gameplay on this, and make sure I've got that set up. And here we go. And
Hey guys, Tyler here. Blade Runner is one
so, as you can see, apologies for that. So I got a Rachel for the Funko Pop. I got a Roy Betty, and I got a Frizz, right? And somewhere up there, somewhere is of course, Harrison Ford Blade Runner, right? I stopped buying Funko Pops. I'll like retail, right? Like off the shelf kind of thing. I'd probably still buy them, like if it's on like bulk sale on auction, but I don't really kind of feel like I need any more. I have like a couple of hundred now, I think, or about 100 maybe. I don't know, just under 100 or more. But I'm such a huge fan of Blade Runner. It's really influenced how I look at things, right? Like in like sci-fi wise, like how I look at um, future tech, how I look at what could happen. I always kind of like what if this, what if that, and I try to bring that into my writing. Like one of those things that right now that we're working on, and it's about to fund my comics soonish. I'm actually going to be working on one of the coloring one of the characters, actually one of the covers for it, wraparound cover that that Francisco Conti has done for Robot Nations, which is Volume 1, Number 1. Of course, that's a standalone story, right? Two short comic book stories, and I think it's a 38-page comic book. It's about 28 pages or something of just art. So, I mean, art and story, right? So, for me, Blade Runner has had a huge influence from the moment my dad and I watched it together, right? I think it was Dad who introduced me to it first. And I'm really grateful for my dad for making me into someone who enjoyed music, heavy metal music, and also just sci-fi, and just having that love for great cinema, right? Like films, and having that huge influence in my life creatively in those areas. I mean, as you guys know, I've actually been to film school, like digital film school, right? Like not the wind up film school film, but actual digital, where you're actually recording on a digital camera and so on. But the process is, apart from the actual technical side, the process is the same. You're editing like we're editing now on YouTube and stuff. It's all computerized, right? So I just from all that journey, of all that background, all those years of experiences, here I am now writing stories and creating amazing work with amazing, talented, gifted artists out here, through our Plunge Studios imprint, right? Through Plunge Comics. So I am grateful for all the people that have had so much creative influence in my life and given me such a love for what I have come to enjoy. And I think one of the, having had Blade Runner as part of my early teens, right, become such a huge part of my life, I, along with all the other stuff, but the not the clean, flashy feel of Star Trek, right? We see, but then but the actual messiness of dystopian style, where tech has run wild, where people have just pushed that button a bit too far, have taken things so far that we're like, there's androids like that look just like us, so you can't tell if Priz or Rachel is an android, right? You can't tell if Rachel is an android. Priz is, because just maybe she is, maybe she isn't. But what happens if one day they decide, well, we're not necessary anymore, that they can take care of themselves? There's some amazing comics out there already. A series called Alex and Ada. I love that one. A guy gets given an android, kind of like an android for Brian's grandmother to keep him, because he's lonely, and try to get him to be more socialized. And that's a great book, by the way, if you guys want to read something cool. Before you read my book, right? Check out Alex and Ada. But so, the gameplay, I saw a video about the gameplay for this, and let me just check here. So there's a real there's a long game playthrough, and then there's a short one. So let me see if I can find you a short playthrough, and we can have a watch of it. And or I can skim through it. So like I said, I've never played the one that I actually have, right? So it'll be interesting to see how this game is played. And the other thing is, the guys have said this game has set the rules on how what is called adventure games were played, right? So there was a video, and I think there's a 6-minute video that talks about that. So let me grab that one. But I'll grab that one in a sec. But check out some of the the artwork here. So this is what is it, like about 30 odd years ago, 27 odd years ago. So when you look at the stuff here, right, it feels so pixelated, so messy, but you got to really think about what was going on. This is the early days of game creation, right? I mean, like, you're looking at, Blade Runner, like, this is 1996, right? So you've got these guys. I mean, I've never played this, but I mean, you look at all these amazing, when you look back on the past and you see how far we've come to now, it it just blows my mind, and you almost like, if you just look at it now, you go, "Oh, what a messy looking thing. How did they actually anybody ever play that?" But when you really think about it, this is the journey that game makers have struggled and moved around, try to bring through, show us the creations they've created, all the years of work that they've put in, from just coding simple little pixels and little, what is it called, fairies? What's the other word for fairy that they have? I can't remember, but you guys know, if you're a gamer, you know what I mean. And it'll probably come to me in a little bit, but look at this, just the movements that they're creating here in this game, right? Scenery, you got a dance scene here, in a stage, and you got little bits of movement in the back. You got a scene at the back with the woman talking, which is like the outside screen, I think there is in the film, where there's like a holograph, 3D holograph of this advert going on. And you'll see that when I play the trailer in a minute. You've got like a bit like this.
You're gonna wish you was neck deep in an off-world reactor vessel by the time I get through with you. Fire up the chair, Holly. You know what I'm gonna come back as in my next life? A priest. There's something holy about how good I am at this.
Little cutscenes.
Freeze! Don't even go for it.
You got any idea how glad I am to see you?
No.
One Blade Runner today and has important business to attend
Rachel,
to. Your department should coordinate its efforts better.
Yeah, but...
You may speak to me or you may leave. I can't offer you any other choices.
Fair enough.
Sure.
I wanted to ask about Marcus Eisenduller.
I can't tell you who killed him if that's what you're asking.
We've already got a suspect. What I want to know is why the killer would be interested in replicant DNA information.
That's a stupid question.
Conviction won't be too clean.
I'll be through with this place long before you, McCoy.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been saving up for a rainy day, selling all those illegal weapons.
One never knows.
So he's talking about McCoy there, right? So is McCoy the Blade Runner? So this is like, immerse yourself in the dark. This is November, Los Angeles, November 2019, right? So let me remove that. So he goes, immerse yourself in the dark, gritty world of Los Angeles, 2019. It's like only 4 years ago. Groundbreaking real-time story structure creates a unique experience every time you play. It's interesting. So it's kind of like pick a path, or what we'd say like the end visual novel type sort of crossover adventure game. I love visual novels, by the way. I try to at least play it 2 or 3 times a week, because it's just, for me, I get to pick how the game is played from the choices that are available. And the cutscenes are pretty cool. And I like the ones with cutscenes. I think or the animations. I find like if you're gonna make a video game, I don't want to watch a light novel. I want to watch at least a couple seconds of animation, because I know it's on my friggin' screen. And if I'm watching it on my screen, it's got to move, right? So that's something I just want to let you guys know. Like, I love visual novels, but you got to have animation. For me, I know everybody else has different things, but for me, I got to have animation. I do play some without the animation if it's quality graphics or if the storytelling is really cool. Okay, so stunning visuals as well as atmospheric smoke, fog, fire, and rain that affect your character in real time. Rich ambient multi-track and multi-track audio environment creates an immersive gaming experience. So I mean, this is like put out by Virgin and Interactive, right? Is Virgin still around? It's like an airplane now, isn't it? Music company, Virgin Records and so on. I think it's Brenner. Is it Richard Brenner owns that? Right. So Blade Runner the film, 1992, right? 1982. So this is a partnership with them, and the computer game is 1997. Of course, it was made in 1996, and then it was put out in 97, right? By Westwood Partnership. It's a trademark, of course, so-and-so of Westwood Studios. So, and it was made in, Virgin's, of course, in London, England. So, yeah, I'm so glad my dad had it, because it adds to my, to my love for Blade Runner, love for Philip K. Dick, and like I said, it's my number one film of all time. Nothing beats it, right? When it comes, I don't care whatever. I don't even care if you think Godfather and all that. I've watched all those, but when it comes to movies, cinematography, immersiveness, and just is she, isn't she, is he, aren't they, kind of thing. Just that whole mystery of it all, it just blows my mind. And looking at this, right, The Crow, it's kind of like the quality of The Crow, like in its storytelling. But of course, Crow is only about 30 years old, right? But whereas Philip K. Dick wrote if I remember right, he wrote the book way back when. But let's have a look at the movie trailer, right? I mean, who hasn't seen it? But I just think that it's the Blade Runner movie is just the bee's knees, and I can watch it forever and ever, and I'll still find something cool about it.
I'm Rachel.
See, that's the screen I was talking about, the lady back there.
Have you ever retired a human by mistake?
No. I need the old Blade Runner. This is a bad one.
If only you could see what I've seen.
More human than human is our motto.
What if I go north? Would you come after me?
Very once, but too many ones. Time to die.
You bet you won't live! Will you help us?
Roy Betty.
What seems to be the problem?
I want more life. An experiment. Nothing more. Nothing more. More human than human is our motto.
I actually have the final cut. Right.
I'm Rachel.
Back it up there and hold that. Where is it? So if you watch, when I was talking about like in that nightclub, there's a scene. That's the scene I was talking about, where you can see in the back, in that gameplay, that through the window you could see her. So they've really worked hard at trying to give you the same sort of feeling or the sense of environment that you get from the movie in there. So you can actually, even it's a different, like it's McCoy, right? It's a different Blade Runner, if I remember right. So with that, it allows it allows you to not play as Harrison Ford's character, but another character, and which kind of like leaves the Blade Runner movie on its own, which is really cool, because you already know the story there. But I think, or am I wrong? Let me just get my, make sure I'm not wrong on that. Well, I don't mind being wrong. It's not. I'd rather give the right information out. Yeah, it's Deckard. Yeah, I was like, what? No, it doesn't make sense. Right. So let's have a look. I should have. I think I've got about three different versions of it here somewhere. I keep moving my discs or DVDs around because I'm always buying new ones every week almost. And I think, did I buy one yesterday? I don't know what. I bought some discs yesterday. Can't remember which one it was. But here we go. Check this out. Right. So can't remember when I bought this, but you know, I have the poster on the wall somewhere, and I think it was started getting ripped or something, so I took it off and I put it away. But you know, I've got that, and I don't even. The funny thing is, I don't even have a 4K player. Right. I'm going to have a 4K because I love to have as many things of the things I love as possible, because once they're gone, right? And at the moment, like they were saying that New Zealand and Australia isn't going to be putting out any more physical media. It's like, man, that just sucks, because it means that I can't go, look, you know, I can't read it here. I got to go, everything's on Google. And what if they decide one day the files are lost, right? The actual, you know, and there's no more be able to create it, like it's happened with Doctor Who. As you guys know, there's a huge hoo-ha about Doctor Who now with Time of the Gum. I think it is Time of the Gum. It was the first 4 episodes of Doctor Who, and they were going to put on iPlayer or what, you know, Apple, so on, all the you know, Doctor Who franchises, everything, and they can't put that on because there's some, you know, legal hurdle, licensing with the Sun and all that. But and that's the other thing, right? What if one day, you know, somebody who doesn't want their work out there, and like Disney's trying to do, right? Like that thing with Song of the South. And if you don't have it, you'll never get to see it. It's vaulted and that's it. And in the future, nobody will know what that movie was about, apart from the kind of like a red herring. Did it exist? Was it? Oh, you know, and then, you know, Disney decides to rewrite the book. No, there was no such thing. It was a you know, fake media, you know, fake news. It was just something that we said it was out there, but it's been removed. And that's basically how things work when it comes to censorship. You know, whoever's in power one day will go, yeah, you know, we don't, you know, the Cowboy Bebop original series doesn't exist. All we have now is Netflix, right? But seriously, I mean, like, you know, when you have got the classic, and if you don't have it on physical, and the guys who own the rights to it don't put it out there anymore, you're lost. Now, something like that happened with an anime, right? Hero, it was, let me just find the name of it. It was, God, Redo the Healer, right? Redo the Healer, one of my favorite mangas, right? It wouldn't, so I think it was like, was it not Cartoon Network? Some, give me one sec. Let me turn this volume off. So, get out of there. Give me one sec, guys. I'm just going to play this trailer. I've got someone who's looking at my power. Hopefully, he's going to turn it off. Give me one sec. Hey, dude. I'm doing a podcast. Are you doing it right away, or are you out?
Sorry, I was supposed to change the meeting.
How long will it take?
I have to check the meter if it is a main switch.
Okay. Do you have to turn anything on?
No, not now. Okay. But if I'm changing, then I'll let you know.
Cool.
Before switching it off.
Awesome, man. Thank you. All right. Sorry about that. It's like I've got to we had this appointment to check our meter because of switching the actual box, the meter box, power box, all around, you know, our city. And it's been 3 weeks, and we're supposed to, like, we timed it to do it today, and I forgot all about it. But he's going to check if he needs to turn it off. So it might be a short broadcast, live stream, I should say. So let's have a look, right? So Redo the Healer, they got the rights to do the English dub of it, right, from Sentai. And so the manga is amazing. I love revenge stories. I don't like my first comic and like student feature film I made, right? was a revenge story. I had to get it out of my system, right? And so, okay, we'll do this. And so I did that. The Circle, it's on, I think it's on, is it on Amazon? No. Kindle. Yeah, it's on Kindle. You can look on there. It's called The Circle Revised, right? And you can download it to read. So I just put that in here. It's a black cover. Let's do that. Okay, so should have pulled it out, but I'm always off the cuff on these things. So The Circle Revised is the name of it. It's a 6-issue comic book by Malfunction. I think that's the name on it or something like that. I don't know. But if you can look up the name, you might be able to find it that way. So that's, that was my revenge story, my first 6-issue comic book. So now they did of course, they did the original Japanese, of this, this manga, turned it, to the animation, and everybody made a big fuss about it now that they could get an English dub out of it, and they basically stopped. They started dubbing it. It's like they never read the friggin' manga, or they never watched the, they watched the anime, like the Japanese version, right? And they bought the rights to it, and then they squashed it. So no more. That's it. We can't get it, and so we're left in the West with English dubs. I mean, Japanese versions of it, original translations. So I'm grateful it's out there, right? But like I said, these guys censored this entire anime and wouldn't continue dubbing it to English, even though they're not the first 3. And so, and then over in Germany, they basically stopped showing it. So now you got to actually break the law to be able to watch an anime that they actually own the rights to, right? So Redo the Healer is a very weird, not a very weird, am I watching the same thing? Hold on, give me a moment. Has that gone to something else? I think that might have gone to something else. Redo of Healer, yeah. Weird. But yeah, so that's that, right? It's a beautiful revenge story. It's from a male's point of view. And the reason why I say it's from the male's point of view, it's an abuse story where it's the male that gets abused by everybody else. It's a fantasy, power, sword sorcery type thing, magic and all that. But it's a very mature thing. So, it's nobody under 15, I would say 17 in New Zealand, I think they've got raised it up to, or 16. It's a mature rating, right? So it's all adults, depending what country you live in. But for us, I just felt like it's like, why would you buy the rights to something to translate it in English if you don't have the balls to complete it? Oh, we just found out it was like this. Well, did you not do your research? Right? And so I just thought it was like kind of a real sad thing to see it happen to something that was such a powerful series, right? Because the message was changed. Because people have this idea that there's only females who are abused in the world, right? It's only females who are SA'd, right? Are victims of SA, right? So now you have a story and a manga that's very popular because it's from it's from the male's point of view. It's like, and I think the idea is that people think that, okay, it only happens to one gender. But as we know, and a lot of problems in society amongst, certain group of people comes from the SA happening to them, both males and females, either as children or as adults, and mostly as children, right? Probably about 70% as children, because which goes on to affect their entire life. Now, so when you watch something like that, it kind of becomes cathartic. Well, I can't even remember how to say it properly. It kind of feels, it kind of like it's kind of like a a healing, a sort of like a little sort of healing to watching something like that, because it shows you something that from the male's point of view that you don't usually see. I mean, there's enough movies and cinema and stories out there from the female's perspective. So this was the first one that was that actually was popular enough and written in a way that you could actually get behind him actually getting revenge for what that was like, And so I love a good revenge story. And for me, as a manga fan and as an anime fan, I felt, as an adult viewer, amateur viewer, right, I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I enjoyed reading the series. I think I got up to about 30, 40, maybe the first 12 issues or something like that, volumes. Need to get back to it. I was thinking about it the other day. That's why I brought this up. But that's what I mean. So, people can turn off the switch whenever they want if it's online. And so if you don't have the physical media, right, it can be gone and you'll never get to see what it was about or enjoy it. And that's why, that's why I think it sucks that people are getting rid of, that we're, New Zealand and Australia is looking at not producing any more physical media. Now, I want to move on to, now that we've finished with the game, the Blade Runner, and talking about censorship and stuff like that in physical media. Let's move on to Vampirella, right? So I don't know what was I saw something or an ad online or something. Oh no, it was a comic book. I saw a comic book come up on auction, and I thought, you know what? Let's go find out, what other stuff's out there, and maybe I'll look at getting an action figure, right? Like I got the Crow this week, right? Maybe I could get an action figure of Vampirella for my collection, and I could have that up there next to the other female characters and so on. And so let's have a look at this. So I put up the trailer. Words or anything like that. It's just a bit of action sequences and stuff. Now, what I found really funny was I didn't realize that, where is that? There we are. So I didn't realize that Roger Daltrey was in it, right? And of course, he's the, Roger Daltrey is, of course, the lead singer of The Who, right? The other thing here is that the lead actress, Talisa Soto, where are we? Talisa Soto, Talita. Yeah, Talisa Soto has been, I think if I remember right, she's a Bond girl, right? So let me just make sure I've got. She was in a License to Kill. And one of the things about this, let me just turn this down a bit. One of the things about this movie is it is cheesy, but it because I don't know much about the actual Vampirella character, and if I was watching it the first time, I'd be like, it's okay. I'll give it a 6 out of 10 for the fact that's how old it is. But then also, it's kind of parodies itself. It's really silly sometimes. And it's like, you just kind of think, was Roger hamming it up, or was that in the script? Because now, if you got a remake of, or if you got a new movie, not a remake, but an actual new movie of Vampirella, you can actually it might be quite a good thing, and you might be, they might be able to do a good job with it because of the way, I guess comic book movies are going, and the amount of effects and stuff you can do with it, and you could make a better, I guess a better movie from that with less money. And you know, you could, because you've got this huge history of the comic books for Vampirella, right? You could actually do a good job with it. And so this is a movie that she's in as one of the Bond girls, Talisa Soto, right? And that's from License to Kill. So that's her there. And she's been on quite a few movies over the years. Mortal Kombat, Kitana, right? So everybody knows her as Kitana, mostly because of her acting in Mortal Kombat, you know, and one of the classics, Mortal Kombat. Yep. Now, where are we? So, you know, very beautiful. You know, she was in a Mambo Kings. What was a Mambo Kings? Let's check. You know, so let me get back to the original. Right. So the story behind, you know, behind Vampirella, according to the movie, I don't know if that's the same thing with the comics itself, but 30,000 centuries ago, right, on the planet Draculon, a cult led by Vlad kills the council and escapes to Earth to become the bloodsuckers known as vampires. Ella, which I kind of found funny. It's like, I didn't even know Vampirella's name was Ella, right? That's why she's called Vampirella, right? And they make a thing about that, right? Ella, because as you know, in Credit Girl, her real name is Ella, right? Ella Joy Johnson. And so, you know, my character, of course. And so Ella, daughter of the Sane High Elder, pursues the cult with vengeance in her heart. Shipwrecked for thousands of, why do I keep thinking thousands of? For centuries on Mars, she eventually gets to Earth as a stowaway on a manned expedition to Mars. All right, so let's have a look. What else? On present day Earth, Adam, a descendant of the Van Helsings, works for Purge, a paramilitary group dedicated to hunting vampires. Ella is now known as Vampirella and must form an uneasy alliance with Adam in order to locate and deal with the common enemy, Vlad. So what did I give this? Did I give it a 6 or a 5? I mean, you know, I don't think I even gave that. So I'll give it a 5, right? I don't think it's that bad a movie. Is it 6 or 5? Where are we? No. Yeah. I'll give it a 5 for, you know, 96, man. It's the same year that, you know, it's the same year this came out, right? So, you know, I don't know. Let's see, how much money did they put behind this thing? Because it doesn't look like they put a lot of money behind it, but maybe, you know, Roger Daltrey took a big cut from it. You know, where's the book? Oh no, look, it only cost $1 million. Dude, for $1 million, that's a pretty good movie, I reckon. Seriously, you know, almost, you know, 27 odd years ago, 30 years ago, right? They spent only $1 million in a movie, and they got the, you know, they got the story across. You know, there was supposed to be a Hammer. Is it Hammer Studios or something like that? What's supposed to do a version of it? Yeah, and they never ended up doing it. And so Hammer House, I think, is a Hammer House. No, that's not it. But there's a company, you know, there's a studio called Hammer, and they were supposed to do something with it like that. But I'll do a film on it. They planned to do it, and then they ended up doing it. But yeah, so, you know, Vampirella, I think it's interesting. But, you know, it came out, it was directed video by the looks of it, right? So $1 million, and I think for what it was, it did the job, right? It got you to know what the character was. It didn't try to, you know, be more than it is. You got to know who, because the comics are already out. Comics have been around since the 60s, I think, late 60s. But you know, it's you know, she's been around a while, and I think I have a Sonya versus Red, like Red Sonya versus Vampirella, or some comic like that, or some Vampirella comic, because I always like to have at least one of the well-known characters in my in my catalog, or in my collection, I should say. Right. So next up is this book, right, that I picked yesterday without knowing that it was it's a dictionary, right? So let's get rid of that. This is Star Trek Klingon for the Galactic Traveler by Mark Okrand. Well, I say Brand. I'm having real problems with language this morning. So I picked it up and I looked at, oh yeah, Star Trek, cool. And I thought, pictures, photos, yeah, these will be cool. You know, it only cost me $2, by the way, guys, from Hospice, right? So I went like, yeah, it'll be great to have some behind the scenes photos and stuff, because in the book, it'll be good for my collection. Plus, it's, of course, it's Star Trek, so why not, right? So I get it home because I think it's a storybook, right? I get it home, and it turns out it's like a how to mix and mingle with the Klingons while you're traveling out into space. You know, you got like trafficking with Romulan shows that Beator, right? Mission will be Quam, right? Stuff like that. Little photos with little information on it. Quam, right? Referring to food, be dead, right? Stuff like that. So when people have quapla or whatever. Was it quapla? I have never been that deep into any franchise or something like that, right? I'm not that deep into the languages of any Star Trek thing. So when people get dressed up and start speaking Klingon, I'm like, I love that. That's the nerdy side. I just enjoy it for what it is. I'm a geek, right? As I mentioned, I don't get into the deep and like intricacies of fandom, but I enjoy it for what it is, and I enjoy it as much as I can. You got like Shizville, which is a coat, right? Stuff like that, or compose, right? Cooperative, crown, mafa, right? All these like real cool little things. And so, I get up, I'm visiting, Klingon, whatever. Don't even know if it's called Klingon, the actual planet, right? But I go visit there and I go, okay, get my little book out. Right. So right. My baby needs a lullaby, right? So you got anything that got a lullaby going on there? Okay, how about Nujval, right? I'm like, I have no idea, but it's such a cool book to have, because it's like it's that extra part of immersiveness into Star Trek, really. And that's pretty cool. And I think well done to Mark Okrand, right, for putting it all together, because at least now, right, those guys who are making these new Trek, which suck, maybe have something to actually go pick up and find out what the words mean, that they want to just chuck it in there. Right. So one of the other things I picked up was this really cool little Lego pre-loved, right, by some kid, superheroes, DC Comics, Heroes for Battle sticker book, right? There's like 1,000 in there, more than 1,000, right? So some are used, of course, but most of them are not. These books go for like 20 plus New Zealand dollars, brand new. And, there's some really cool stuff in here. I always get these, no matter, how much is used, because if there's, at least 50% of it's not used, I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll grab it. I'll have it. I'm not sure where I'm going to use it. But, sometimes when we do our conventions, it'll be cool to just like cut it up and give it away to kids to play with, or not to play with, but take away or put on something when they make their, do some drawings or coloring in. It's a cool little thing. So yeah, I thought, you're this talk about. All right, I was just looking at this Batman, right? So talk about Batman. I just invested in a computer chair because my back's been aching. So every time I get off this, I'm just lying down for a couple of hours because the chair is not that best for being long term, but also it starts creaking. But it's really bad for my back to be using it because it's got no neck support, it's got no spine support. So I got myself a Batman chair. I've got to wait for it to arrive and then put it all together, which I'm not looking forward to. But it's better than having something that's damaged because it's already put together. Now, if you guys watched last week and the weeks before's podcast with my friends over at, where are we? Let me just get out there. Over the live streams I've been doing with my friends, and we reloading them up. So there is a series that we're doing at the moment called Frungray. Where are we? Frungray Creatives Invasion, right? And last couple of weeks we've been doing. We've done one with. There's a link here. I'll just put up this one's with Lynette from Fabled Hero NZ, right? So we were talking about TCGs because she's a cosplayer, and we're talking about her cosplaying as a character from Flesh and Blood, which is a New Zealand game, by the way, taking over the world for the last couple of years because it's. I mean, check out the artwork on that. Is it? No, it doesn't want to show you. But I grabbed this yesterday, and of course we're talking about One Piece card game, and also the Grand Archive. So you can watch that video we're talking about her, and of course this was crowdfunded, by the way, guys. So this game here was crowdfunded. $950,000 was raised. Is it nine? Yeah, 900, almost $1 million, right? Was raised to create this game. And like I said, I have a game that I'm creating myself. Part of my Zeolandia IP or franchise, I suppose, that I'm creating as part of comic book and board game crossover. So I'm always like looking to see what's going to make it make my if I create a game, it's going to be enjoyable for me to play. So I don't want it to be extremely hard, and but I don't want it to be too easy. So I know what I want to do with my game, and so I've been kind of like keeping an eye on what's out there and stuff. And so yesterday, when I was downtown picking up stuff, I saw this on the counter at Card Merchant Whangarei, right? They had this. And I said to him, who's a salesperson there, and one of the co-owners, right? There's 3 of them there. And I said, "What's this?" I said, "How much is this?" He goes, "Oh, it's free." I said, "What?" Yeah, you can take that with you. It's got 2 decks, and you can learn how to play. So it gives you the rules, and it's a 2-player deck. It shows you how it works, all the mechanisms of the game. And I thought that's pretty cool. It would be cool to add to my collection, because of course I'm always trying to add something new to my collection because it's just the way I am. I like to have something with me because I guess I'm a hoarder. But also it's just that itch, you get, as Eats calls it, right? One of the owners that, but I also have the booster packs for this before I even got the decks, right? The starter deck, because when I went to buy it, they didn't have the decks. They had run out of the decks, and this is like a month ago. So I bought 2. I've already got 2 booster packs for it, but now I have the deck as well. But the other thing, part of that is I'm trying to support my friends because they supported me for an entire year when I owned my shop, but also they also supported me the last 5 years when I was doing my Plunge convention. But then again, 3 times. They're my friends. They're my close friends, right? So, you want to support your friends if they, in their business and their endeavors to get out there and do stuff. And they really have, after 10 odd years of, playing in garages, playing in my store for a year, playing, at home again, and then playing in a design school, right, in a little office area for about 6, 7 years, and then being at my conventions, and then also now the last 3 months they've been able to set up their own store. So check them out. It's called I'll just put the link here. It's Card Merchant. Fungeray. And you guys are probably saying, what language is it? Well, that is Maori. Fungeray is to place water, if I remember right. So it's there in the link. There's a link there, but it's also in the chat there, guys, if you want to check it out. But they have board games, they have Funko Pops, but they also, of course, have the TCGs and stuff. And I was down there yesterday. I was really surprised at how much more they have products off now than they had when they were first setting up, when they first opened. So I'm just really excited for my friends there being able to do really, really, really work real hard to set themselves up that way, and put all their energy. And by the way, guys, everybody works full time on the side there as well, while they have the shop there as well. And so I think, there's something that a lot of creatives don't, especially in the comic book world, don't really understand, is that if you're creating comics out here, comics isn't going to be the be all and end all of your finances. The best thing to do is either work part-time or have a full-time job, and then spend your weekends and evenings working on your comics, right? Because the worst thing we're seeing right now in the world, especially in the comic industry, is comics are luxury item, right? So because it's a luxury item, it's not one of the things that people have to have. It's not like food and drink, right? Or shelter, right? Or internet or phone, right? It's something they just take on unless you're a hardcore collector, which I used to be like. But now I don't really need to be buying a comic book if I can't afford to pay my bills, right? So when things like that change in the world, people go, well, not to worry about comics. I can pick it up in like a few years' time, right? Or something, a couple of months when I'm better. So if you're in a situation like that, if you're a creative, if you're in the comic industry, your bank account's going to get hit. And you got to be really careful of, that's why I always say, learn business, right? And I've been in a position where I've actually held down 2 jobs while I studied. So I'm speaking for experience, right? So I'm going to school, doing 30, 40 hours a week at school, going straight out of school, like my classes at 4 o'clock, whatever, whenever the friggin' courses are over for the day, I'm going straight into frying up friggin' hot dogs and fish and chips, making sandwiches, whatever, platters, frying up, steak on the grill and all that for the people who they're watching the game, right? Watching rugby or whatever is playing, right? Horse racing. And I'm there providing the meals until about 10 o'clock at night. So I'm working 6 hours, then I'm going home, sleeping, and then getting up again, going back and doing that. And then in the weekends, I have a separate job, right? So I know what it's like when you're working 80 hours a week. And, and I did that for almost 3 years, right? So I know what it's like when you're trying to make sure that you have enough money to pay all the bills while you learn, to be able to, get some vacation time, whatever, so you work hard all through the year, then you get three weeks off at the end of the year. And you work through the holidays as well. But the thing is, a lot of comic people don't know how to budget. They don't know how to the business side of things. They think that, yeah, I'm going to put this on Kickstarter. It's going to be the biggest selling thing. And then you realize that, yeah, well, there's about 300 other biggest selling, biggest thing out there. And you're competing with that. And not only just that, that's just Kickstarter. Now you're looking at all the other platforms that are already out there. And you're competing with all of them for that same thing. And at the end of the day, it's tough, right? You want to get your book out there, you want to do all this stuff, but it's going to be tough. So you need to learn how to work around those things. And that's, not everybody's Mike Mignola, right? So just by his name, he can sell something, right? Just by having him on a book, it'll sell, right? You saw, like recently, we saw something come out from AWA, right? That JMS company, right? Artists, writers, and artisans, right? 100K, just like that, boom. They're a company on their own. They are out there. They've got their books and previews. They've got all their comics in the stores. Now you're competing with them on Kickstarter, right? They have never backed anything. They've never backed any other company. They've never backed any creator. Yet they're able to get $100,000 within a day, right? Because of their name alone. And so, of course, there's going to be people disgruntled about that. But what you're going to do? So you got to be more smart about yourself and how you're going to do stuff, right? Currently, I've done about 98%, maybe about 99% of the work for our for Incredible, right? Incredible is totally completed now. All I had to do was get a screenshot of one of our backers' YouTube channel and cut paste that onto that the space that they bought, right? They bought a half a page of advert space by backing out all in tier, right? That's it. I just got to copy paste that and it's done. I've already done everything else. I've sent it, put it up on Dropbox, and now it's going to be, I've got my Kevin, who's our illustrator, penciler, inker, to go through that and look at all my, if there's any errors I've got there with spelling. Sometimes I miss it because, too many head injuries. I'm always very careful about making sure when the final print goes to final print, right? The book goes to final print. There's no errors. Of course, there's always going to be errors. Everybody ends up missing their errors, right? There's something always gets missed, but the book is complete now, right? It just looks beautiful. I did a couple more background colors. I put all the Kickstarter people backers' names on there, and put, every page is done except for this little, copy paste of an image on it. So, so by next week, it'll be off to the publisher, off to the printer. So we want to get the book Incredible out to our backers as quickly as possible. As soon as it drops back from the publishers, it'll be out, right? So, it's a book that I'm so proud of. We worked so hard to make it happen, right? This is our first one, and I worked around the clock. I mean, we've been working on this project for 2 years, right? Incredible, right? 2 years of working on this one project. And the cool thing is that while the Kickstarter's been going on, and all this time we're prepping to get all the coloring and everything done, all the things that we needed from the backers, drawing them in. Kevin did a great job drawing them in. I then, then we were still working on issue 2. So he's halfway through illustrating issue 2. So that as soon as this book goes out, we should have like issue 2 inked and ready to go to Kickstarter. So once it's in everybody's hand, right, around the world, we should have issue 2 ready to go to Kickstarter. And then while that's getting ready, while it's on Kickstarter, we'll have Hugo color that in. So the other, let me just check this. So while that's doing that thing, let me just grab this off the other screen. Come here, Clip Studio. Nope, that's not it. Right. So while that's doing its thing, we, while, it's getting into people's hand, and while we're running, our all ages on Kickstarter, we're going to take, where are you? Now, what's my mouse? Hold on. So we're going to take, there we go. We are going to take Robot Nation to fund my comics. Now, this is the cover. I got to color this cover in. It's a wraparound cover, and let me see. Am I there? There we go. Will I be able to grab it? Nope, won't allow me to grab it. One sec. So we're about. Let me see. We've got 4 pages to ink and 2 pages to pencil. So all up, we've got 6 pages to ink, and let me grab it. Sorry about the noise. That's my meter guide. So let me see if I can put the curve and it'll stop there. Hopefully that's kind of like, what is that called? Lessen the noise. So let me just pop around again. I just want to see if I can get it close up, as close as I can. Right. So this is, that's a wraparound variant cover we're going to put out, and I've got Hugo looking at doing another. Yeah, so nope, got to go the other way. So as I mentioned, Robot Nation has 2 short stories in it, and so the first one's the actual. Sorry about the way it looks. It's hard trying to get it. What if I could just move this whole thing over to here? There we go. Right. So it's got 2 short stories, right? And oh, I see why this happened there. Give me one sec. Here we go. Just need to see that. So let's see. Here we are. Zoom in. So let me get my thoughts back. All right. So Robot Nation is I think it's 38-page comic book. So you have all the back matter in as well. But it's a 28 art and story book, right? So it's a 12-page short story called Robot Nation, which is a titular, whatever they call it, the title story. And then there's a 16-page story called The Trouble with Bobo. So that's another short story. So they're all standalone, complete short stories. So you can buy this book and never buy another Robot Nation, right? But this is volume 1, number 1 of the series, because I want to do a whole series of these, like just keep going on, and because it's just the idea of like doing something totally different in this fashion, which is like you put a comic book out with short stories, and if you get one, it's fine, and later you come in and buy the other one, that's fine. You're not losing anything, and you don't have to wait 6 months for another book to get the story. So this is totally different style of doing it, and that for me is like a huge plus to buy something, because I think standalones are really cool to get into, And I want to try whatever way, to be able to tell a story. I'm a storyteller. That's my whole thing. If I can tell it through a ongoing miniseries, I'll do that. If I can tell it through a 2-page, 2-issue, I'll do that. But this is a really, like, the artwork on this is amazing, guys. I am so excited at the talent that we, and the skill that Francisco brought to this. Like, a lot of times, I don't have to, just like with Kevin, I don't have to tell him what to put in the background. I don't have to tell him what other character needs to be there. I just need to do the main characters. He fills in the rest, and that makes it really easy for someone like me to just keep writing, and not have to go too much detail. So hopefully you guys can, keep an eye on that. And that will, of course, go to Find My Comics. And it's because it's a mature comic book, right? It's got a lot of gore and stuff. It's sci-fi. It's there's a lot of, it's a black, and it's going to be black and white. I decided that we'll leave it as black and white. I'll put a color poster in the middle, and we'll, so you can, not a color poster, like a pin-up. And because I've got this really awesome, you guys would have seen it. It's like a battle scene that we've, let me see if I can find it. Give me one sec. That's going to be part of this release. It's something that I actually commissioned as a Kickstarter backer, right? So I actually backed someone to draw me this that I could then use for a cover in the future. It was supposed to be for a different project, but then I ended up using it for this. Let me just, where are you, buddy? Right, so this is going to be the post, like the pin up in the middle for it. Right, so we're going to release this. This is by Pablo Lordi. I commissioned this as part of a commission art as part of a Kickstarter project. It was worth it, right? So I'm going to use this as like a poster, pin up, whatever that we be part of this. And I'm going to like I'm going to try to write a story around it. I have a story idea in my head, and we'll see what goes. But yeah, that'll be part of the Kickstarter. But there is also 3 different posters for this. Not posters, sorry, covers for this. There's a risque, there is a normal, and then there's a wraparound. And I'm going to be inking the wraparound this week. Now, what else do we have? Oh, I was going to. There's an event on right now in New Zealand. So if you guys are watching here directly in New Zealand, there is a. Where are you? Where'd you go? Right, here we go. So there's a concert on that features one of our very, very famous New Zealand musicians, hip hop musicians. And his name is King Kapisi. But it's a crossover type concert. And I'll play the video for it here.
The Brother Man Project, the Roger Fox Big Band with King Kapisi.
If I've never heard it, then I'm pretty sure you've never heard it as well. Talo Falava, kia ora koutou, this is King Kapisi. I will be heading to a venue or a theatre near you very soon with my big brother, Roger Fox, and his incredible big band.
We actually played the first show at the New Zealand Blues Roots and Grooves Festival, and we had sayings like epic, It's an award winner. Oh, I don't know what award winner, but it was an award winner. And one called, hang on, I wrote it down because I had to remember. Here it is. Look at that. A stone cold banger. I've got no idea what a stone cold banger is.
So you're going to hear South Pacific jazz, hip hop, music from Roger and myself, King Capisi, and we will be rocking a place very near you very soon.
October 19 in Queenstown, October 20 in Invercargill, October 21 in Oamaru, and October 22 at the Christchurch Big Band Festival. Then we come back into Wellington, and we are one of the marquee acts for the Wellington Jazz Festival. We're playing at the Michael Fowler Centre, and that's on October the 27th. That's Friday, October 27th. If you want to find out more about the tours and where you can book tickets, go on to the Big Band website and just go to the rogerfoxbigband.com. So that's Roger with a D. Remember, D. RODGERFOX band. And book a ticket.
Shout out to Youth Town and Bill Moran and the whole team from Youth Town for supporting us. Yeah. So come and check us out, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Much love, King Capisi. That's us.
Look forward to seeing you there.
All right, it's one of King Capisi's most famous songs. I can't remember what the words are there. I'm not even going to try, but that last bit there, that's one of his famous songs. So I know him from, but he's well-known New Zealand muso. So a couple of weeks ago, I got asked by I asked one of my friends who's met Shepherd because he's got an EP coming out for his punk band Wavepack. I've mentioned them before, of course, but so he told me to get in touch with the lead singer, right? I forgot her name. And so I get messenger. I get a message back saying, "Okay, we're going to meet up tomorrow. We'll let you know what's going on, when we can do it or not." So the next, I think about a little bit later, I get not sure if it was the same day or the day after. He goes, "Hey, you know what? We got a concert coming up in Auckland, 2 hours drive from here, down south." He said, "Would you like to come and do the podcast then? Record the podcast." And I said, "Cool, yeah, man." So within 24 hours, we did a trip down to Auckland, and it's the first time I did actual event like that, where I actually went to a concert and talked to the band and did a podcast with the band. Maybe I should have done that with Shepherd's Rain, right? But I wasn't. I just wanted to go and enjoy and meet these guys. But we've got Shepherd's Rain, by the way, is going over to, has just finished their New Zealand tour. This thrash metal band has got a New Zealand thrash metal band, and they are now going to do the Aussie thing. So if you guys are an Aussie watching this, please go out and support our Kiwi thrash metal band, Shepherd's Rain. They're really cool. I mean, seriously, old school, hardcore thrash metal. You will not feel let down. Believe me. The moment I heard it, I was like, this is what I want to see, the quality of, thrash in New Zealand. Or anywhere, really. World class, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so when we got to Auckland, we recorded them in podcast, recorded the podcast live in the car. I mean, not live, but recorded it in the car, and probably about an hour worth of it, hour and a half. And then I've got to edit that. So the next couple of weeks, I'm going to edit it, and we'll put it online on this channel, of course. But the other thing is that I did put up a short video, and a video short, whatever you want to call it. And I just want to play that so you guys can hear that from that concert. The volume's quite low. So this is Ben Mendelsohn. I think it's Mendelsohn. I can't remember if it's Mendelsohn. I think it's something else on drums. It was a really cool night, and you know, it's Whangarei. 3 punk bands from Whangarei went up. I think it was 99 Ghosts were the open, like the main event headliners, I should say. There was Wave Pig, and I think Wave Pig. Yeah, Wave Pig played last. So there was another band I cannot remember. I apologize to you guys for that, but I recorded almost the entire concert. And the cool thing was, I'm so glad I had about 16 gigs of memory left on my little phone, right? So I had this, and I recorded the entire thing with the phone, you know. And so it was pretty cool. I had a good time. The guys were really nice, and you know, it was a really fun time to be had. So, but here is another bit. I did this just for the shorts, just so I could put up little short snippets of it. And but I did the 16:9 on proper, and I've got like something like about 10 gigs or something of it, of all this footage and photos and stuff. So it's going to be a really cool thing. That's a guy. I can't remember. Man, it sucks. I can't remember people's names. I have terrible memory when it comes to names. But it was such a cool. Yeah, I just make a joke about that they kidnapped me because it was just happened so suddenly. But there was so much fun. The guys, a bunch of really cool, down to earth guys, and so much humor. You know, you can tell they enjoy what they do, and you know, it was such a great time with hanging out with those guys. So look out for the Wave Pig video that's going to be coming out on tour, I guess, video podcast. But you can also you know, check out some of the other you know, concerts that we've got coming out. Now let's get out of there. I want to finish up here. I don't think I've got anything else to talk about today, but I do want to open up 2 little mystery boxes. I think one's not Funko and one's Funko. So this is a Deadpool mystery minis, right? And then this is a Marvel Zombies mystery minis. So let's. Oh, before that, I want to show you guys this. This is the auction item that I bought. And I didn't know what was it off. I was like looking. I mean, I know it's the Crow, but I didn't know which one it came off. So it took me a while, but I figured out it's actually. Give me one more sec. I hit it there. It is the Crow Eric Draven with chair deluxe 7-inch scale San Diego Comic Con 2014. I think that's 2014. Let me just check there. 2014. Yeah, exclusive. I think it was 2014 exclusive. No, 2021 exclusive. And by the way, guys, this has become my most favorite figure, right? Because all I need now is a friggin' chair, right? Give me one sec, I'll show you. I almost want to rip off these two, right? So I can put Eric in this chair, right? Because I don't have the chair. So because I only bought this alone, it cost me $10 by itself. So I'd rather rip this lady off here, right? Or guy, is that a guy or girl? Can't tell. Anyway, that's a dude. Yeah, it's got Allen's. Looks like yeah. Anyway, ripped that off and put Eric there because I love this figure, man. This is an amazing, like one of the best action figures I could think. Check this out. You can do the splits, right, and still move his leg backwards and forwards, right? The design, I can see why they call it the deluxe, right? Because it looks so good, right? Let me just see. Oh, it's not going to do it. But this is such a really cool figure, right? But as you can see, he's supposed to like just sit on the chair and fold his arms like that, you know, and that's it. And with the scene, and that's how the box came in. And it took me a bit of searching to find out what it is, but I've loved The Crow since I first saw the movie. I thought it was great, and it took me a while before I actually got around to find out it was a comic book character. I mean, a couple of years later after watching the movie when it came out. I don't even remember if I saw it at the cinema or if I just saw it on VHS. And I watched a video. I'm not sure if Joe Barr, I just call him Joe Barr, right? J.O. Barr. Let me just find something. Did he put up, you know, that, gosh, where is it? I think I put it in. That he, the creator, put up himself, or because it's only, you know, on the channel there's only his videos, and it was just said because I was trying to find out whether, no, that's the wrong one. Darn it. Let me just find this video for you. James O'Barr, right? So there is snippet of videos online that was put out by him talking about the creation. This is James here, sorry. About the creation of how the Crow came about, and it's really worth watching. And I'm not sure why haven't I already followed it. I'm not sure, you know, if it's him just putting up. So you can see this is all the videos that are up there, right? 4-parter. It was put up 11 years ago, and it's worth watching because it's his own words talking about, you know, how he started doing art, how he started creating this character, what happened, the tragic things that happened to him, his home life and so on, but the tragedy that actually went into creating the Crow. Now, as someone who used tragedy to create the Red Dot myself, I really understand a little bit of it. Not because the Red Dot came out of myself dealing with a murder in my family, right? In my extended family, right? A very public murder, right? And so I used a character to tell that story through. And I didn't actually end up finishing the actual story in the end. I hope to return to that soon, sometime. But I need, I kind of like sideswiped it and created a bigger story on a different sort of thing with the Red Dot character, and because I wanted to introduce him to the Plunge universe, and I wanted to give him a better, a bigger world which he could be in, rather than just a 5-page story. But I think just like Superman, right? We learned that, I think it was Jerry Siegel that wrote Superman, or Jerry's Joe's sister. Was it Sister Spiegel? Yeah. But like we later learned, like through the comic books, that it was one of the creator's fathers that had died, and that's how Superman came about. Right? You learn about it as it goes, stories like that. So you got three. You got, not saying my thing's anything great, but like Red Dot came out of tragedy. There was a first male superhero kind of character, vigilante character. Sorry, I should say vigilante hero character that I wrote that actually came out of a tragedy in my own family. And so when I was listening to James, why do I keep saying Joe Bar? I always call him Joe Bar. James, I started, I remember that's why my own character came about. And I could find a bit of affinity, connection, I guess, with them. And it just, sad. It's sad what he went through, but he used that creative outlet to create something that other people in the world could enjoy, could be inspired by, and themselves become creators and artists and do something amazing. Like I said, I used the idea of the Punisher to help me come up with my own character to tell a revenge story, which is no longer a revenge story, right? Because you can I'm not revenge vigilante, but it is a revenge story. But because when you're creative in the world, there's two ways you can go around. You can either turn that hate towards yourself, or the violence towards yourself that you feel for somebody else. And that's if you're what's it called? Someone who doesn't like to hurt other people, but it's okay with hurting themselves, all right? That sort of thing. Or you can go out and hurt other people, or you can do something creative. So you're not hurting anyone, but you're doing something amazing. Give me 1 sec, guys. I'll just put this video on. So what? 1 sec, and you guys can watch that while thing.
But he was completely serious, and that's how it is in Hollywood. It's like, it's like there's this beautiful tree, and every dog that comes along has to kiss it. And it got to the point where it was like, what the hell? Why do you even buy this thing when you want to completely change it into something unrecognizable? Why didn't you just come up with your own story? Why do you even bother with this if you're just going to try and change everything? And it got really, really far away from.
All right, guys. So apologies for that. That's it for today. As I mentioned earlier, that I've got a power guide fixing up the meter. I will see you next time, or not, or I might do a quick one later on. But we'll see you tomorrow night on the Kiwis Review Comic Books at 7 o'clock here. I've got Ant Sang, New Zealand comic book artist, and creator. So ka kite ana, wherever you are, be well, be safe, and get out and do some gaming. Pick up either a One Piece or a Flesh and Blood TCG. But of course, have fun out there. Bye.